Utah Jazz came into the weekend with an 8-game losing streak. That, combined with back-to-back wins by the Washington Wizards, have dropped Utah, or moved them up, depending on your perspective, to the bottom spot in the NBA standings. Yes, the Utah Jazz have the worst record in the NBA.
Yeah, you know, losing has its benefits in a rebuild. However, tonight, the Jazz actually do have some incentive to win. The Jazz, who own the Timberwolves draft pick, can keep Minnesota out of that top 6 automatic spots in the playoffs in the Western Conference. Minnesota just half a game behind the Warriors for that 6th spot. And, you know what? This looks kind of familiar here early on in the game. The little pocket pass on the pick and roll to Rudy Gobert for the dunk. And the 1-point Minnesota lead, but it was Anthony Edwards who was doing the real damage. He scored 19 of the Timberwolves' next 23 points. A couple of threes here put the T-Wolves up 17-5. Then after this Walker-Kessler tip-in, Edwards comes back the other way with another triple, and the Wolves are up 24-9. Now, Lauri Markkanen would dial up his second 3 of the quarter already, only to see Edwards come right back down the floor and absolutely bend the rim. A 21-point quarter for Ant. Minnesota led by as many as 19, but the Jazz, they kind of flipped the hustle switch late in the quarter, led by the rookie Kyle Filipowski. Saves this rebound to Collin Sexton. He would miss, but Flip is there for another O board, and this time he just puts it back in himself. Jazz were down 14 after 1. Now, Filipowski, he kept it going in the second quarter. Hits his first 3 of the game. Jazz down by 11, and that starts a bit of a run. Svi Mykhailiuk gets the shooter's bounce for 3. Cuts the Wolves' lead to 6. Then the young bull charges to the rim. Collin Sexton caps a 12-2 Jazz run. They're down by 4. Minnesota rebuilds the lead. Gobert crashing the glass, throws down 2 more. I'm sure Jazz fans miss Rudy a bit, but they've got a guy who can kind of do a lot of the same. Walker-Kessler down the lane for the hammer. Jazz trailed by 11 at the half. The 2 big guys would swap dunks again in the third quarter. First, it's Walker-Kessler with the emphatic putback slam. Kessler had 15 points, 19 rebounds for the Jazz, 5 of those boards on the offensive glass. Then it was Gobert's turn, another dunk for him. The 16-point lead, Rudy with just 7.6 boards, 2 blocks, and Ant once again torching the Jazz for 8 points in just the final minute plus of the quarter. Minnesota's up by 23. The Jazz didn't make up the difference in the fourth quarter either. Instead, we saw this. Walker-Kessler pulling up for 3. Only Lauri Markkanen attempted more threes in the game than Kessler. Kessler was 1 for 6 from 3-point range. He had the make, which was his 3rd 3-pointer of the season, but that wasn't going to bring the Jazz back, not tonight at least. The Jazz dropped their 9th straight, 128-102. Anthony Edwards finishing with 41 points, the 5th most by any player against the Jazz this season. Collin Sexton led the Jazz with 22 in the loss.